doctrinally sound, but relationally inappropriate. That's what I noticed with a lot of Christians, especially, I don't know why, this is just my personal experience, I don't know about everyone else, but from my personal experience, people from the Reformed camp usually are so great at doctrine, but then when it comes to relationships and what's appropriate and inappropriate, my goodness, it's really, really strange. All right, so I'm going to give you seven, there you go, 7 kinds of Christians who might be very doctrinally sound and yet do these crazy things. Okay, so I'm just going to count off 1 to 7. Number 1, the morsel monger. Morsel in the Bible is usually attributed or connected to, for us Bible readers, when we hear the word morsel, we think of gossip, we think of proverbs, we think of gossips are like choice morsels. They go into the innermost parts. And a lot of times Christian singles, here's what they do. They are morsel mongers. They are looking for technicalities to express themselves to the person that they like without being overtly showy. So it's kind of manipulative. So for example, if I'm a morsel monger and I like this girl, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to look for the biggest gossip in church. I'm going to look for someone who I know has no self-control. And then I'm going to talk to the guy or the girl, whoever it is, and say, hey, for example, let's just give a name, Eve. Is Eve single? And then the person says, well, I don't know. I guess, why do you ask? And then the morsel monger Christian will say something like, well, just between us, okay? Like, don't tell anyone. Of course, I know he's going to tell everyone. You know, just between us, don't tell anyone. I really appreciate her. I really admire her. I think she's so beautiful and so pretty. And I don't know, maybe I've been praying about my season. And, you know, anyway, change topic. And then I go home. And then I hope and I pray that this gossip in church will spread the news that I admire Eve, so that if the word reaches to Eve and Eve begins to show some extra attention to me, or, you know, at least entertains my efforts to say hi, hello in a more extra friendly way, then I kind of know now that she's, you know, interested in me too, or that she's entertaining the thought, and then the feeling's mutual. So that is the first one, the morsel monger. First, they're causing one person to sin. The gossip, they're causing the person to sin some more by fueling the gossip. Secondly, I'm causing Eve to sin, because Eve now is going to be wondering and questioning and all of that, and I might cause her to be to stumble, and I'm therefore sinning by being a stumbling block both to the gossip and to Eve. So that's the first one, the morsel monger, which I really, really don't appreciate. The second one is the bragging bachelor, or the bragging bachelorette. This is the kind of guy who brags and brags and brags, hoping that his bragging or her bragging would attract the opposite sex. So again, I'll just use the word Eve or the name Eve for the entire rant. So if I'm the bragging bachelor, I'll say something along the lines of, hey, guess what? I have 100 theology books and I've read them all. Or, hey, you know, I make so much money. I make 250,000 pesos a month. You know, or, hey, you know, it's so strange. I found out that this and that girl likes me. So basically, I'm gonna brag about so many different things, hoping that one of those things would cause Eve to be attracted to me by bragging. Most of the time, with men, it's money. It's money, position, or power. Hey, you know, I know the head of this, you know, I know the president of this company, or I make so much money every month. You know, but they're very doctrinally sound. When you talk to them, they can defend the faith. They're great at apologetics. They know the different nuances of the different systematic theological, you know, issues out there. But they just brag a lot in hoping to attract the person, because they don't really know how to be appropriate when it comes to relationships. For women, it's usually the number of guys who pursue them, or it could be the friends that they have, the connections that they have, you know, the ministry involvement that they have. Well, guys do that also. I am in this and that ministry, and that in this ministry, and 6 other ministries from different churches. You know, things like that. So they brag a lot. So the first one, the morsel monger. The second one is the bragging bachelor. The third one I really, really don't like is the faithful fencer. When I say fencer, I'm not talking about the fencing sword fights. Faithful fencer meaning they build a fence around the person that they like. So most of the time, if I like Eve, here's what I'll say. I'll say something along the lines of, hey Eve, you know, I appreciate how much our friendship has grown, and I really like you. And I just don't know how you feel, but I am so praying for you. And so Eve begins to confess her feelings too. Well, you know, I've appreciated our friendship for so much for so long already, and I have to admit, well, now that you're telling me that you've been praying for me, I've been praying for you too. And then you'd think it's a courtship, but then the faithful fencer will pause there and will stop the courtship or pursuing her, and will begin to build a fence. It's called a reservation. They'll say, you know, Eve, I'm so glad to hear that we have the same thoughts and prayers for one another. It's just, I know I'm not ready for a relationship yet. So can we just keep our friendship like this and just continue to be friends while we know that we appreciate and are interested in each other? And let's just continue to pray and see where God leads this. And so now Eve is wondering, I thought you were going to pursue me. You opened up because I thought you were entering into courtship with me, and I was open for that. And yet now we're not in courtship. We're in this purgatory limbo, and it goes on for so long. And then some of these faithful fencers have the audacity to say, wait for me, give me 10 years, give me 15 years, give me even just 3 years. I don't care how long it takes. If you say wait for a year, and the reason is just you're not ready, you should not have said anything at all, bro. Seriously. So that I really hate, because you are causing so much tension in the relationship, and you're playing around with the feelings of the girl. And Eve's gonna stumble. Eve's gonna wonder, should I wait, should I not? If there's another guy who wants to pursue me, should I say no because I'm already in a sort of weird MU purgatory limbo? There's a fence around me now. Okay, so faithful fencers, man, actually I don't like all of these 7. Okay, but this just grinds my bones. The faithful fencer. Well, the bragging bachelor as well is a bone grinder. And the morsel monger, because the morsel monger actually causes others to sin. Next, and the next one is super cringe. Number 4, the serial sower. The serial sower, guys, is a dude who tries to get to know every girl. If she's a girl, she tries to be uber super cutie friendly with all the guys. You know, it's just flirting left and right, and it's not even flirting. It could come off as being genuinely friendly. You know, like, you know, hey Eve, how are you? I've been praying for you. You know, you're such an inspiration to the church. I'm so impressed by you. Blah 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 blah. And then in a separate text, not to Eve. Now it's gonna be to, I don't know, to a girl named Faith. Faith, you know what? Your name is so perfect for you because your faith is so wonderful. So this guy just sows to every girl and see which girl sticks. He'll try to find out which of his sowing, the flirty sowing, will actually bear some sort of weirdo fruit, and those are the girls he's gonna focus on. It's the same thing girls do a lot of this, the faithful sower as well. Hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? And yet they're doing that to all the guys, you know, just trying to say, I'm single. You know, it's just so tiring, all right? That's it. The faithful fencer, the serial sower. Then there's the godly gaslighter. I hate this. This really is so... the godly gaslighter. You know what they do? They'll say something along the lines of, you know, I really want to take it slow with us. You know, you just met this dude, and he's already, hey, you know, I'm so impressed. You know, first meeting, I'm already so impressed, blah, 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 blah. But, you know, I really want to take it slow with you and me and our friendship because I just feel like there's something there, but I'm not sure. So I just want to take it slow. The first time you meet, second time, maybe third time you meet, he's already saying, I want to take it slow. And yet, by saying, this is gaslighting, by saying he wants to take it slow, he's actually moving fast. But the words are saying, I want to take it slow. So it's confusing for the girl. The girl's going to think, he wants to take it slow, okay, he's saying that, but he's asking me questions. He's talking about kids. He's talking about the season of marriage. He's talking about all these super fast things, but he says he wants to take it slow. So the girl's confused, right? That's gaslighting. You know another way of gaslighting? It's like saying this. I'm not slapping you. I'm not slapping you. I'm not slapping you. I'm really not slapping you. But the action itself is already a slap, right? That's gaslighting. And these guys deserve a firm talking to. A very firm talking to with a very firm hand. How that hand moves depends on how gaslighty the guy is. This is a very narcissistic trait, just FYI. Okay, so be very careful. The next one is what you call the spiritual selfie. Now, girls usually do this, but I've seen guys do this too. The spiritual selfie is when they say, fearfully and wonderfully made, selfie click. Or it's very strange. It's very, they post these perfectly exposited, you know, exegetical blogs, very wonderful blogs that are exegetical, and the application is wonderful. Everything's great. And yet they attach a picture of themselves looking really pretty, you know, being very cute and all of that. The spiritual selfie is usually done by girls. It's to promote themselves, especially on social media, as single. They make all these single jokes, these single hugots, to tell the world, I'm single! Somebody pursue me! That's the thing. That's the spiritual selfie. It doesn't even have to be an exegesis or whatever. It could even be just these posts, these quotes, these sayings about singlehood and all of that. It's for them to tell the world, hey, I am dying to be pursued. You know, that's just very cringe. There's a disconnect there somewhere. There is a kind of intentional activity to get guys to be interested. And that's just really, really weird. The last one I would say is what we call the married mingler. This is the most dangerous because most of the time, and I don't know why, but it's usually girls, okay? It's usually girls. When girls see a married guy, they suddenly feel safe. They suddenly feel like, oh, he's married. He's probably not thinking about, you know, me or any girl in a weird way. Because he's married, he's in love with his wife. You know, don't think that. Please, please, please do not assume that. Guys, same thing. If you meet a married girl, please don't assume that she's safe to hang out with. Here's the thing. If a person's married, your levels of vigilance, your discernment, your what you call this, your level of wanting to be extra appropriate should go higher, all right, not lower, because you wanna, if you're single, you want to protect married people. If you're married, you want to protect single people. And I tell you, not every married person is very, very happy in their marriage. They may look like that outside, but you know, I have spoken with, I have met, I have heard so many married people who say they're not happy in their marriages, and they've got these fantasies of these other girls outside of the marriage, or in other words, not their spouse. It's the same for a lot of married women who think, you know, everything's fine, and yet there's a part of them that's wondering, what if this or that guy? All right, so just be very careful with that. The married minglers, and here's the thing, there's a lot of guys, especially, and I don't like this. And I don't care if you say you're coming from a culture that's very flirty, very playful, very overly friendly. I don't know if, like, for example, if you come from a country where you kiss each other on the cheeks as a hi, hello, okay, fine. If you, I'm not sure which one is this, but I'm guessing Italy, maybe France, you know, like, hey, how are you? And then they kiss each other on the cheek maybe 2 or 3 times. I've seen this in the movies. Now, if you're Italian and you come from Italy, and now I'm not sure about this, but I'm just guessing. If you're an Italian and you're coming from Italy, and Italy has a culture where you kiss each other on the cheeks when you say hi, hello, that's all fine if you're in Italy. If you come to the Philippines or some other conservative country, don't do that. You might come from a country where it's cultural to tease a lot. Oh, you know, very touchy, hey, you know, like, oh, how are you? You might be very touchy. You might be overly friendly, overly flirty, overly playful, and that's your culture from where your country is. Fine, if you're there. If you come to a more conservative country like the Philippines, stop it. Because you don't know what kind of messages you're sending to the girl that you're touchy-feely with. You know, hey, how are you? Massage the back. You know, that's physical touch. Just massage your wife. Don't massage some other girl who's not your wife. Even if everybody thinks, oh, that's just him, that's just how he is. Nope. Not in a conservative country, not in a conservative culture, not in a place where it's more easily misinterpreted. If the girl you're massaging is not misinterpreting it, your wife might. If your wife isn't, the other audiences in church might. If it's not the other people in church, it might be a non-Christian outside church who thinks, I thought he's a Christian. Why is he flirting with a girl who's not his wife? For you, it might mean nothing, but it might mean something to others. So you're not supposed to cause other people to stumble. If you want to do that, go back to Italy or some place where you can actually want to do that. But if you live in a place where it's not normal, don't do it. There's a saying. Now, I know this saying is not really Christian, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. But I'm saying that in the context of being godly and trying to not cause others to stumble. It's the same thing with drinking. If you're drinking alcohol and someone is a former alcoholic or something, just don't cause them to stumble. It's the same thing. You have to have what you call blamelessness. Don't even give a hint of immorality. That's what the Bible says, a hint. So, massagey, playful, flirty, ikaw jud, oh, you know, you're always like that, you know, just stop it, man. Like, bro, you do that with your spouse, unleash all of that flirtiness, playfulness, touchy-feely, unleash all of that towards your wife and not to anyone else. Excuse me. But really, that is, those are the 7. So let me just recap: the morsel monger, the bragging bachelor, then you've got the faithful sower, the faithful fencer, the serial sower, the godly gaslighter, the spiritual selfie, and lastly, the married mingler. I hope this is helpful. I hope you guys become more aware so that you guys don't end up in inappropriate relationships or living in inappropriate ways towards one another. We are not called to be just ourselves. Well, that's just who I am. That's just my personality. No, the Bible says, die to yourself. Be more like Christ. Be blameless and learn more and more how sanctification works in your life so that you will not even give a hint of sexual immorality to others. All right? I hope this helped you guys. God bless you.